the CPA here. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Self-employed, running all kinds of calculations for you. Check out my other videos, but let's run through this really quick. Let's look at what are you going to get out of the Flexibility Act, right? We know that there's a 24-week provision. There's a 60% provision. You know, the Flexibility Act, all it does is pluck language out of the CARES Act and put new language in the CARES Act with a couple of new paragraphs. It really doesn't address anything new related to the self-employed other than the information in the original CARES Act and how the SBA interpreted that in determining how much of your loan forgiveness would be coming into play as a self-employed individual, right? So we know under the old application, we don't have the new one as of June 5th. Under the current guidelines from the SBA as of June 5th, meaning there are no new guidelines from the SBA today. So what are we talking about? Let's do a little crystal balling here, because we know that the SBA was the one that set and created the calculation of how the self-employed would be considered forgiven, okay? So let's just run it both ways, okay? So Flexibility Act, 60% or 24 weeks. Self-employed, we're gonna go with the Schedule C, and if you saw my other video, this math's gonna work the same. Put any number in there, but in this example, line 31 is 37,700. So we know the loan would be 7,854, right? That'd be the PPP loan amount. Line 31 divided by 12 times 2.5, that was the loan amount that you got. You have to use that same line 31. So let's just go with the 60%. So we take line 31 divided by 52 weeks, okay? And let's just say they go, we're still doing 8 weeks, yo. So we go with the 8 weeks. Hold up, we're gonna do the 24 weeks in a minute. Times 8 weeks is 5,800. Divided by 60% is 9,667 max forgiveness. The loan's 7,854. Seems like that'd lead to 100% forgiveness, even with 8 weeks, okay? Now let's say they go, well, you know, we're not gonna use the 60% with you. You're like, what? But we're gonna give you the 24 weeks, right? So what happens if it's 24 weeks? Well, we start with the same line 31 from Schedule C, 37,700 divided by 52 weeks times 24 weeks, that equals max forgiveness of 17,400. Well, that's more than the loan. So both these calculations lead to a max forgiveness higher than the loan. And what do I mean by that? On the loan application, you cannot be forgiven for more than the loan, right? But then these other calculations tell you, well, here's the max that's going to count. Well, for self-employed, you take your payroll cost, okay, before you even add utilities and interest, rent, before you even add that, you're taking into account your payroll cost. What's your payroll cost? They defined your payroll cost based on your line 31. So you take line 31 divided by 52 weeks, we multiply it by the 24 weeks, which is now the new covered period, boom, you have a max forgiveness, right? What it was before was you take 37,700 divided by 52 weeks times 8 weeks, and you'd be at 5,800 with a division of 9667. So we're gonna have to wait and see. It's June 5th. We're gonna have to wait and see what the SBA guidelines say, what the updated application will come up with, because it's gonna change, okay? It'll change because there's a new safe harbor, but that's for employers. It's gonna save for the 60%, okay? That affects everybody, that's line 10, right? There's no cliff, there's no all or nothing for the self-employed. And as it relates to the loan, that's not gonna change in terms of how that's calculated. It's all on the forgiveness. So this might be finally a win for the self-employed. I hope so. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And then I'd love it if you'd subscribe. I really would appreciate it, the extra effort to subscribe and maybe turn your notifications on, because I try to have some good stuff coming out. And don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in.